Hi everyone. So today I'm going to tell you about some of the resources that I've been using over the last 6, 7 months that have really helped me learn how to code. I wanted to do this video because I think coding is such an accessible skill to gain. I also think it's one that is useful in lots of different industries as well. I don't think you necessarily need to be going into tech to learn how to code, and I also find it very rewarding. Personally, I love solving problems, so having to solve a coding problem actually really excites me. And although there are a lot of phenomenal resources out there that do cost money, I think that there are actually quite a lot that you can get for free. So today I just wanted to tell you from all my sort of research, what resources I find the most useful. So firstly, you have to decide why are you actually coding? Why do you want to learn how to code? For me, I originally started for my honors project. So I was doing machine learning, and Python was what I was going to be coding in. So the first book I used was called Python for Everyone. You can actually get an online copy. I will link that below. And it's really easy because, well, I'm not saying it's really easy. Some of it's a bit tough, but it's really easy to understand what you're doing and understand the results you're supposed to get. Because I think some of the reasons that people are basically just not as interested or inclined or confused about coding is that they're not actually sure what they're meant to get. It seems like this black box. But Python for Everyone really made it accessible. And there were a lot of activities in there that were quite nice. One of the first ones is, insert your name and it will say, oh, hi, Stephanie. So just really little things like that that build a good foundation. And I also think the author does a really good job of explaining the concept. So you're not just doing things or you're not just copying, you are actually understanding the principle. I've written a blog about how to learn technical subjects, and one of the things in there was to understand principles, not just procedure. Once you understand a principle, you will be able to use it in different contexts, and that's what we hope. We hope that we would code and be able to use those coding skills in different contexts. When I first started learning, I was working with the terminal on my laptop. So I have a Mac and there's a terminal. So I was writing code and then I was running in the terminal. And what I found out about a few months ago that I absolutely think saves you so much time and also is a very good form of note taking if you're coding is Google Collaboratory. I think it's something like that. And Google Colab, so Colab for short, is it's an online notebook where you can basically write and run code. So you can write the code and run it immediately and see the response. That's so much nicer than writing it somewhere else and running it in another place. So I really appreciate that. Another platform I'm finding fun is HackerRank. So HackerRank is basically a platform used by a lot of employers to do coding tests for people going into roles where they need prior coding experience. They have this 30-day coding challenge, which I think is really nice. And one of the beauties of HackerRank is that you can actually do the test in different languages. So you're not just limited to different languages. For example, I started learning Python, but actually the next language I'm really interested in learning is Java. And I can do those exercises I've done from that challenge in Java as well. I also think it's really interesting to see how languages interact with each other and what the difference will be. I think the principles and the logic is usually the same, but the interpretation of that logic is different. I think it's actually similar to real world languages. Once you've learned one language, it's easier to learn another language, and the more languages you learn, the easier it is to learn subsequent languages. So I really appreciate HackerRank. There are a wide range of resources out there, to be quite honest. but one of the ones I appreciate the most are the courses done by actual universities. And you can actually find these on Coursera and EDX. There are other platforms that you can find courses run by universities on, but these are the ones I use the most. So EDX has a course called Harvard CS50. So over 2 million people have done the course, and it's an introduction to computer science. I think that's also a really good introduction to it. And for example, if you've done the Python for everyone and then you go to do the CS50, you will do it quicker because you have already learned some of those principles. So I think it's about looking at the content of all these things and seeing what you want to learn. I think because there is so much that you can learn, I think it's important to narrow it down to the actual skills you want to be able to have. So, for example, let's say you want to be able to build algorithms, and you're able to find a free course on how to build algorithms, and that free course done by university is in Java. So you now know that you need to learn how to code in Java. So you can take another course that teaches you the fundamentals of Java, so that way you are narrowing it down as well. So it's also a good idea to try to work from the top down or bottom up. I'm not actually sure which one it is, but try and see what skill you want to gain. Find a course that teaches you that particular skill and then learn the prerequisites of the course instead of learning all the different languages they are out there and then trying to apply it to different things. So I think streamlining your experience is extremely important. Something else that I found super helpful is actually reading other people's code. So, for example, when I was learning with Python for everyone, I was reading other people's answers to the code and seeing how other people approached it. I found really interesting and was a really good learning opportunity. Some of you might be watching this and think, okay, do you know what? I want to learn how to code, but I don't want to have to invest lots of time every week to learn how to do this. I just kind of want to learn it as a hobby on the go. And I think in that situation, one of the best options is actually just using different apps. There are lots of coding apps out there as well. I quite like the Data Lab one. It's more for data science. And there's also Code Academy. Code Academy also has an app as well. And there's one called Python Learn, which I actually really like as well. So there are different apps that you can use while you're on the go, and I think these are really useful. So yeah, I hope this video has been helpful. I haven't said anything technical. I've just, wanted to just share resources I've used. And if you've learned how to code, and you're an expert, 'cause I'm really not an expert. I'm just someone who's learning, who wants to share what I've learned so far. So there might be better ways to go about it or better resources that I don't know about. So if you have any knowledge or better knowledge or other advice for people, please feel free to comment below. I will probably be taking that advice as well myself. I hope this has been useful, and I hope that if you are interested in learning to code, this has maybe just encouraged you a little bit to learn. Like it is for everyone, So if you have that interest, just do it.